Hey, everybody, it's Dr. Danny Martin, your host tonight for the Sith Dominion podcast. Guess what? We have Cameron, Debbie, and Zane tonight. All four of us are here for your comedic benefit. Comedic because, man, this is going to be fun tonight. How are you doing, Cam? No softball, kickball? Was it a little wet out there?
A little wet.
Whew, man, we've had probably 2.5 inches in the last 2 weeks, or 2 days. It's been crazy. 2 weeks.
Need
Okay.
it,
Yes.
Need
Hi,
it.
Jay. How are you? Yeah, Debbie. How are you doing?
All right. It's been a long day.
Yeah. Been a long day. I right before the show, I got one of those little Aurora things like what she has, and she just wasn't as impressed as I was with it. And so whatever. Zane, what's up, man? Come and take what, or don't tread on what? Don't tread on me. I see.
Mm-hmm.
How you doing?
Pretty good.
Did you get a little break from your run of shows over the 2 weeks? You had like 4 or 5 shows over 2 weeks or so, and recording. I mean,
3 or 4 shows, and we recorded our EP, so
nice.
It's gonna be a live
Nice.
one, not studio.
That's all right. When y'all, when then does that drop, or do you have a time frame for that?
We don't know specifics. Hopefully, it's mastered by our next big gig with Thomas, August 23rd on Hudson's on Mercer Street in Dripping Springs.
Nice.
If it's mastered by then that's a release party.
Heck yeah! And you played at Cella's Brewery this last weekend,
Mhm.
which is, I remember living in Austin playing there. You guys played on 6th at Maggie's. You guys rocking, man. That's cool. It's cool. Our lives aren't as fun, so that's why we spend a moment with you, because
Oh.
I can live vicariously through you and still play my music, kinda. All right, what's up, Shield Maiden? How you doing, Cat? So we got a couple of things to talk about tonight. First of which, we'll get into the guts of it later, but I just kind of high level scale of 1 to 10. I just want the number. Zane, scale of 1 to 10, the Acolyte as a whole.
5.
5.
Yeah.
Debbie?
6 or 7 as a whole.
Okay. Cam?
4.5.
That's gracious from you. No, I'm being serious. I was at 5 for the series. And the rumors that there's a series season 2. Your thoughts?
Please.
Are you worried about it, like from a lore perspective, or are you okay with what kind of has happened so far?
I think this is new ground that we're treading within the new set of canon. And I think no matter what, it's going to hurt. You know, like a tattoo. Tattoo's going to hurt regardless. So, I mean, there's going to be things that we don't like. But, you know, as I said 2 shows ago when I was here, you know, it's not our story, it's their story.
Yeah.
You know, so
I
think they should, though. There's a lot of characters I want to see more of. A lot of ins and outs of other things. So,
sure. Okay. Cool.
Yeah, if it was just about Chimere and Plagueis, I'd be all for it.
Yeah. Agreed.
Just Sith. Nothing but Sith.
That's what we were asking for in the beginning. That's what we thought we were getting, right?
That's what they told us we were going to get originally.
Cam? Season 2, what do you think? Yes, no, and if so?
If so, get new people to freaking be behind it, for the love of God. That would be great. I think that has some potential. Like, I'm not saying it doesn't have potential. I'll save my comments about my little green fella for later.
Yes.
But it has potential, man. I like Chimere a lot. If they do, I don't know about Plagueis. I don't know about. I don't know. No, I wasn't a big fan of that cameo personally.
Agreed. as we've stated many, many times since the show began, it is our hope and dream and desire that we can get more dark side exploration. It doesn't have to be glorifying the dark side. It doesn't have to be whatever that feels icky about the dark side. Just give me the dark side. Just show me. Just tell me. Explain it. Give me the deep dives, the way that we deep dive our shit. Like, give us some of that, right? Yeah. Yes, thank you. Jedi garbage. I don't, and see, here's the thing, like, and we've talked about it on the show, like, I can't stress enough, the Jedi are imperfect, and we should not put all our trust in the Jedi. And that's just always been the case. I think, though, the way that they're making it blatant, we'll talk about that later. I don't want to get on that tangent, but yes, we're with you guys. A lot of drama, and just come on. So some news. Season 2 has been. There's a couple articles I read where they're talking about that. And yes, Cam, who would you? Never mind. We'll talk about that later.
Johnny Gilroy.
You've said that, and we'll talk about that later because I think that's a good pick, and I want to know more why. I know why, but I want you to explain why. So, whew, I guess we'll just go ahead and say it. This is our 1 year kind of anniversary show. 44 shows in 52 weeks. That's a lot of shows. I'm tired. But I will say it has been a freaking amazing time. We've had some guests that are business owners. We've had guests, DJ Elliott. We've had guests that are on game shows. We've had all kinds of guests and GNN members, Kat and crew and Mark. And we've had so many people on the show. It's been really fun this last year. And there are times that decisions have to be made to make some changes. And so with that, GNN is well aware. But everyone that is watching, we will be... this is our last show on GNN's network. Doesn't mean we're not going to still have a partnership and work closely together as much as possible. But starting in 2 weeks, we'll be on our own channel. We have... Linktree and stuff, and we'll be pushing all that out here during the show to get some folks if they want to go check us out. Yes, that is hard, and I will tell you it's hard because I wanted to start this show a while back, years ago, and never really had an opportunity. And I thought, you know what, this is the time. I'm writing for GNN. I'll go ahead and start this podcast. And when about that time, David was asking, can we get an extra podcast? Anyone have any ideas or whatever? And I was like, I've got this idea, and maybe I'll launch here instead of on my own. And I did. And it has been an absolute ride, man. This is so exciting. Thank you. So yeah, we'll continue to cross promote. We'll continue to help each other out where we can. But in 2 weeks, our new show will be on our new platform, and we will make sure everyone knows. Thank you all for the well wishes. It's hard, but I don't want to belabor it. That being said, there is going to be a standalone channel, and as you see at the bottom, you see if you would you explain what you were saying earlier, Zane, when we were talking about this, where if we have a Discord already set up, ready to rock. And how did you do that? You said, if you do this, we can get you some early access. How did you say that?
If you on any social media platform that you can like DM us, if you send a picture or a screenshot of you following, subscribing, anything like that.
It's pretty easy too. Like Insta at the Sith Dominion. TikTok at the Sith Dominion. YouTube at the Sith Dominion. Facebook at the Sith Dominion. So yeah, just pop us. Insta at
follow that one. That one's
follow
the
that Zane one.
If you message this one with it, you'll get a follow back as well.
Honestly, just hit Linktree and go the Sith Dominion, and you'll see our stuff already right there. But yeah, follow, all the things. And again, GNN, you have been fantastic, and I can't wait to see what we can do to even continue to promote each other. Absolutely, Shield Maiden. Absolutely. And as a matter of fact, here in a little bit, I'm gonna pop the link to this show, not the link to watch it, but the link to join it into our AV group. So you guys be ready if you want to jump on and join the conversation here in a bit. All right. Now back to some Star Wars. So the new link hit. The new,
You got this.
Kat is the first one. She just tagged and look at follower number 2. Yeah. I hope it's Kat. Where's the link? Here we go.
I put my time and effort into this server. Okay.
Amen.
You did, yes.
Time and
Say
effort.
that-
I mean, like 15
Am I not
minutes.
sharing screen?
Say thank you to Lore Master when you join, by the way.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. The
Oh
Lowell
wait, this will be the
Master.
first time I can see this welcome message. I think. I don't know. I might have changed it again.
All right. I'm going to share this. We're not going to watch 10 minutes, right? But we're going to watch a few minutes.
You can
guys
skip
watching?
the first 5.
Is it that much?
She's
Yeah,
just
there-
talking. The jaw was going through a Sarlacc pit. The action's not till the very end, if you're into that.
I think the action's what we're here for.
That's what we're here for.
So
How about
keep
here?
scrolling back. No, scroll back a little bit more. Right there. A little bit more. Like 30 seconds after she gets robbed.
Are you guys playing this?
I've seen it 3 times, brother.
Oh,
Hey, come back here. That's my tube.
man. Is this on Unreal? No, this is Bethesda. Who did this?
Ubisoft.
Ubisoft.
LucasArts.
All right, Nix. Go get him.
Why did I get a Bethesda feel? Ugh.
Well, it's using Snowdrop.
Someone nearby.
All right, this is killing me.
No. Let's keep going. Let it cook.
Oh. Okay, so
All this for
All the
Just
dust.
wait, man.
I love all the dust that gets in the way.
do we have to have a sidekick in every Star Wars game?
Yes.
You say yes. I do it. It all started with R2, didn't it?
Yes.
If they're good side characters, why not?
I mean, I like BB-8.
100%.
I should get out of here.
You just ate that blaster bolt like it was nothing.
I mean, we know what lightsabers do in Star Wars, so it doesn't surprise me.
Thank you, Shield Maiden. I'm not going crazy. Who did the Gears game?
Oh,
Feels
jeez.
like. That's what this feels like. Very Gears. Unless you can jump, because I don't think you can jump
Going
in
loud.
Gears.
Oh,
Epic Games. The Coalition. Yeah. Epic Games. Yeah.
Got you. I mean, that's pretty cool. It looks good. I'm sure it'll be a little crispier even on my rig. But yeah.
No, it's gonna blow up your rig with how
I
much it
can't
needs
wait.
to run.
Wait for the open world desert.
Yeah, that's
No,
easy.
this, you know what this is reminding me
okay.
of?
I'm
This is
headed
totally
back to
reminding me of
Boston
Far Cry.
Now, all right, just
Far Cry?
Try
Yeah.
to stay in one piece. Here.
All right, are
straight
we
from
done
the,
with this?
Second mouth.
All right, we're done. No,
Time is
stop.
absolutely flying.
I don't even know what I did. Okay.
Just sweet enchanté.
So, what do you guys think? Is this something? I think Cam is already drank the Kool-Aid. Are you going to play this? At least buy it and play it.
Not on launch, no.
Gonna let it bug out first.
Mm-hmm. I'm
Give
not
it a-
paying $79 for a game that I know is gonna practically be unplayable on my $3,500 PC rig, no flex, but it's just gonna not run well, and that's gonna make me verbally and physically all
think
types of
so?
angry. Yes, all AAA games are like that.
And they're so big, you end up having to like uninstall another game so you can play it. I only have 3 games on my because it's so big.
Well, we got 2 terabytes of storage, my brother. So
See, I only got
that'll-
500 on board. I've got an external with 4, but I need to install in a bigger one.
it's going to join the long list of press releases by the studio coming out with saying we understand that the game is this is not the final state. Well, then why did you release it?
5 hours of patches.
Not
on
even
day
5
one.
hours of patches. There's going to be like a queue time to load into a single player game.
Yeah.
The
Oh,
servers
I
are gonna
remember
crash.
day 0 of Sweater, and it took forever to queue. Like I played maybe in 3 instances, and you kept getting kicked out. It was a mess. But man, I ended up playing it for a decade. Zane,
Look
you
at it
played it
now.
for even longer than I have.
Look at it now.
running.
No one's playing.
It's still
See,
no
Andrew,
one's playing
It's still going. It's still going. Just not even anywhere close to what it used to be.
I think that's a tough one for me, Andrew, because like you have games like Assassin's Creed Odyssey and Origins, Odyssey especially, that kind of felt like running simulators. Man, I know you can fast travel, sometimes around the map, but like it's hard. How do you capture like the immersiveness of like the open world and something like Tatooine while not making it feel cumbersome to the player,
SWTOR did not do
But
that.
No.
yeah,
But I will say Galaxies did a very good job. So when you're on Cornet or not Cornet, where was Han from?
Corellia.
Corellia.
Corellia, thank you. When you're on Corellia or Theed or whatever, these are giant or not Theed. Theed's the capital. Anyways, these are ginormous worlds. And you would be on your speeder for 2.5, 3 minutes, like just to get anywhere in Galaxies. However, I was fine with that because I knew Star Wars was a huge world and there's so much to do in between point A and point B, even if it's open desert. You could mine, you could pick up this, you could go kill dewbacks if you wanted to. Like it was just so cool and immersive by means of like you could get lost in the world. And I hope that this has that kind of feeling. That you feel big, but like to your point, Andrew, maybe it feels big if they can work it right, but it only takes X amount of time on a speeder to get to Y, right? I think were we playing Destiny? That was the way I kind of felt in Destiny. I was running and I saw my daughter and her husband run like on a speeder. How'd you get a speeder? Oh, you just got okay. And then it's
Yeah.
it's not so bad on a speeder. It takes like a minute. No big deal.
Until you're going back and forth and back and forth and back and forth.
Yeah. So what do you guys think? Is this going to be a game that's going to be niche, or do you think it would be? Yeah, exactly. Do you think it would be a niche game, or do you think it's going to be a big hit? It's hard to tell, but what do you think?
I don't think it's going to be a big hit. I think you would feel that by watching it, the trailer, or seeing the gameplay. I think it's going to be. I think in the long run it'll probably be a good game. It's just I don't know if Ubisoft's got a lot of problems just in general going on right now, and I think that is going to cause this game to suffer. But if it's good, it'll keep people around. But it's going to be patch hell for probably 3 months. So it's not going to be a groundbreaking game like you think it could be, because it has an interesting concept, interesting universe, interesting world, different way to explore it than really you have in any recent Star Wars game.
Mhm.
But I don't know. It'll probably be fine. I mean, I'll want to play it. I'm just not going to be rushing to get it on my system by any means.
Do you think it's gone are the days of the day 0 release and you've got a full game and you start playing?
Absolutely.
And do you think that's because of the shift in medium from hard to soft medium?
I think
digital
so. I think
medium?
it's just game. I mean, like most things, and I'm victim to this as well. I mean, we don't make them pay for the crappy stuff they do to us product wise. Like we still buy the game. We still watch the show. We still watch until we start hurting their pocketbooks, nothing's really going to change. I think you'll have some indie games that come out and they're in a really solid state to play, but they're just not big enough to hit like a mass audience. That it's going to substantially make a difference to move the needle. So, which is unfortunate because a game concept like this, especially for a Star Wars fan, I don't even think if Star Wars was in a quote unquote great state for the fans, this would be game changing for the fan base. So
I agree. And I kind of equate it to this. What was that last game? Starfighter? No. Star Wars.
You're talking about Squadrons?
Squadrons. I don't think it was a huge hit. It was a niche. I thought not everyone likes to do that. And honestly, I did that in VR and I about threw up. I could only play for like 20 minutes in VR. What's up?
Yeah,
What's
I
down?
can't do the VR stuff, man. It throws my equilibrium for a loop, man, and then I'm done. I can't.
I just love how everyone agrees up is up. Like whatever direction up is, like all the fleets are up. Like all the ships are up. So I know that I can orient myself because everyone else decided for me what was up.
Unless you're Star Destroyers in the Rise of Skywalker and you don't know how to go up.
Oh my gosh, this is true. You can only fit. Yeah, I get it, but
no, don't rationalize with it.
No.
Oh my god!
I think we can put a lot on a physical disc.
Well, and as long as technology keeps changing, we can keep shrinking physical media. The problem, or compacting, and not compacting. What do you call it? Compression. But at some point, don't you think it would? I don't know. We're not owning our media anymore, and I think
you do if you own the physical disc.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like you can't buy
at this point.
I don't know, man.
Like on all of these consoles now, the physical discs are just licenses that you own.
Yeah,
that's it. They're just physical.
Well, because all the content, all the DLCs, all the patches.
Even the game. I mean, you think about it. You put your disc in, and then it has to download.
Yeah,
that's downloading it online.
You need to download 6 gigs.
It's just the license for it, which sucks.
Yeah, I got you.
5
Yes. Well, I remember those days, and whew,
I don't.
Man, Kodak. Yes. All right. Thanks, you guys, because that's gonna be a good one. So let's talk about. Here we go.
We're gonna do it. Is it time?
Huh?
Is it time?
What?
We're about to do it.
Nice.
Amen, brother. Physical media for the win.
Need for Speed. The problem is I've got all these physical media and I have my Alienware has no disk drive and I refuse to buy one.
So. Why don't you get one? They're cheap.
Yeah, Blu-ray. Yeah. All right. Let's get into this. The Acolyte. Because I'm done with the small talk and we need to get into the meat. Big sigh of sadness. Why, Janae? Because we're talking about the Acolyte?
That's tough.
That's tough.
I know. Big sigh of sadness. I agree.
Please stay. Do not leave. Debbie will be the voice of reason, and Zane possibly as well.
Look, I'm just gonna say it. This episode was one of the best episodes.
It was okay.
It was the best episode.
It was
one, and then the
but I also the worst at the same time.
And that's, I mean, I gave the other episode a 7 and 5. I think it was 5. I gave it a 7.
7.
So what?
No, keep going.
So I thought it was the episode standalone did well, and I am okay with calling it a 7. I would love to know. Is that true, or is that some? Where'd you get that from? Star Wars Theory. Where'd you get that? Inside the Magic.
They had the same fight choreography as the dude from Rogue One.
Well, I will tell you, that was the great fight scenes in episode 7. Let's start with that. How did you guys feel about him? I know, Cam, you were talking about kind of that mix, martially artsy, but how did you feel about them in this episode?
In episode 8,
Mm-hmm.
I like when Chimera and Soul fight.
Yeah.
Other than that, no.
Do you still feel like they missed the lore piece on the forums? Like there was for me, I feel like I missed that a little bit. Zane, what do you think? Like where they would face off, right? And kind of gauge each other.
Well, that's what was cool. You look at the fight for Obi-Wan versus Maul in Rebels, like it was 3 moves, but if you look, it was like a whole minute of them switching forms.
Yes,
which is really cool. I love when they do that because it shows how much work they put into that. I don't know. I thought the fight with Chimera was awesome. I think he's just the best character, and Soul was the second best. So their fight was
They should have been the main characters. Would have been far more interesting.
And Nara, for me, was once we finally started to get to know her, like I was down with her. I was really pissed. You guys know. I was like, "Are you kidding me? You killed her off right away, and then you killed the Wookiee. What's wrong with you people?" And if you just take a breath, give it a chance, they're gonna. Some of it they answered for.
What do we know about her, Dana?
Who? Inara?
Indara.
And
what do we know about her?
We know that she's a Jedi Master. We know that she's has a relationship of sorts with Soul. Do we know if he was her Padawan? I think there was some, maybe not Padawan, but there was some illusion that she was his teacher of sorts. And what is the deal with her Padawan? Are you kidding me? Okay, so maybe the more I'm thinking about this, why would she take that dude as a Padawan? Because he was terrible.
Tommen?
We found our emo character.
Hey, don't hate on Tommen.
No, not
He just
Tobin.
wanted to go home.
Not Tobin. Oh, I'm sorry. I meant what's her name? Venestra's. There we go. I'm sorry. I spoke wrong.
Oh, Venestra.
Yes.
Can I get to her yet, or are we waiting for that?
We'll get to her in a bit. So my bad. I mixed up the Padawans. Yes, Tobin. How is it that she, so mighty, it seemed, would have such a Padawan? I don't know. I don't.
Perfect.
You thought it was perfect?
No.
Yeah, I mean, think about it.
Typical team.
And
I don't
like,
want to be
it
on
was
this
like a
planet
duality.
pulling moss and grass.
Why
Who
do
the
you
hell
think?
wants to do that?
Why do you think Obi-Wan was paired with Qui-Gon? Because Qui-Gon didn't. He loosely followed the rules and did his own code almost.
Yeah, and Obi-Wan was wild.
And Obi-Wan
for a while.
was strict. He was strict on the code, and so it was like perfect. I mean, that's the same kind of thing here.
That you counter with, yeah, I got you. To make balance, but that's not balance. But yes.
I think there was some unexplored explanation on Torben, is that his name? As to why he didn't want to be there. Really could have added some depth as to why he wanted to go home so bad, but missed opportunities, I suppose.
Yeah, I mean, Shield Maiden, you said, I want to go home and play Minecraft. Yeah, it seemed like he just didn't want to be there, but that doesn't. You're a Jedi and a Padawan learner, whatever, but this is this is what you do. You're told to go do crap like this. Like, what? Yeah,
maybe he wanted more excitement than pulling grass and using a metal detector to check the ground.
I'm not the Jedi I should be. I want more. Sure.
It's kind of like when, I would take my kids out and try to do something and, they didn't think it was all I thought it was.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Oh, hey, put up this comment. We need to have this plastered the whole episode.
Yes.
And the fact that they
thank you,
changed
Sarah.
with no explanation. People's motivations make no sense. The Jedi doing what they're doing make absolutely zero sense. Vanestra especially, which I'm gonna get into you later. I'm
Oh,
coming.
Vanestra.
I'm coming.
Man.
I'm coming.
Yeah. Maybe it gets back to the Jedi human traffickers.
You
He
just
was
want
the
to go to
kid
the
that wanted to
Tosh
stay home.
station to get some power converters.
You know, we have a right to do this if you allow us. Like what?
Maybe we don't understand.
So
I
okay,
disagree.
I'm trying to be superficial and talk about, the fun stuff on this episode, but whatever. It's not working. So let's just get into it. So episode 8, I will tell you straight away, and I'd love to talk about this. Why? Why did Soul end up being the freaking patsy piece of garbage is what they made him out to be? And I did not appreciate that. As someone who grew to love him as a character, as you're building him, what little you did, but what you did do, you built him in a way that created me to form like I want to be a mentor. I get that. And that seemed to be the theme, right? I want a pupil, I want a Padawan, blah, blah, blah. And then you made him look like a patsy. I don't like what they did to him.
I don't like what they did to my guy Basil, man.
Man,
why did Basil betray him? What the hell?
We'll get to Basil in a minute. There's all kinds of theories out there about Basil, actually. I had no idea.
Darth Basil.
No, not
He's
quite.
the other Sith. He's the other Sith, guys.
Not quite. So tell me why they swapped Padawans or apprentices. Like, does that make sense?
Why didn't she just go with them? Why didn't she just go with them?
I'm trying to get to the bottom of this, man. Like,
what was the reasoning behind that? And she just mind wipe?
Oh, rule of 2. That's why.
Rule of 2. I just don't understand.
Are you too stunned to speak?
I am.
I'm just thinking of how to word this with my creepy Darth Gollum Plagueis in the cave with Kamir.
Oh, for Pete's sake. He looked like a creeper. Like he was watching either Kamir in the water or he's watching like May or Osha.
Well, I'm going to respond to that. I don't think that, I don't disagree that the rule of 2, but it's like Osha mentions, I will train with you if you spare my sister. So does Kamir want to kill May because she quote unquote betrayed him? And so Osha leaves to go train with Kamir to spare May, but just lets her get put in jail by the Jedi?
Well,
I've only seen the episode once, so
they're gonna track her down.
So the fact that she knows about him.
Knows about who?
The Sith.
I thought her mind was wiped.
But was it?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, she was asking her questions, and she was just like, "What do you mean?"
You think she was faking? You think she could have blocked the mind wipe? I don't know about that.
Oh Jesus Christ, Anna!
She has
Please
the power
stop.
of threads. She has the power of threads. What can I say? She's like Freddy Krueger in like Nightmare on Elm Street 2.
That's not me, dude. That's him. He's saying that she would block the mind wipe. Come on, dude. No, straight away. She had her mind wipe. She didn't know what happened. And so I feel like at the end of the series, I'm like, what the hell? Why? Why did we even have this? What value did you add to the lore other than trying to say the Jedi are crap, which I know we do on the show, but you trying to do it's different. It's not right how the Jedi were portrayed.
It was absolutely stupid, and it is spit in the face to the lore, in my opinion. I just want to preface this. This show was not worse than Book of Boba Fett.
No, the show was not worse than Book of Boba Fett. And Andrew, sorry. I don't know you that well to call you Andy. I think Yoda did that cameo for the money. Yes, the same way he did that movie back in the 80s. What was it, Gremlins? I think he did that movie too. He needed the money. Book of Boba Fett. Maybe we should do a one show on how terrible that was, but no.
Yeah, give me alcohol poisoning.
That would be such a hateful.
So let's move on to Kamir and let's focus on him for a second.
Let's go.
When you see this in the beginning, you kind of suspect it might be someone close to May. And we suspected maybe it was one of the mother or the the Zabrak. I can't remember her name, mother. And then we even thought maybe it was Venestra for a moment. And then we find out it's Kamir. It all ends with Kamir, I think, putting the moves on Osha, holding her hand at the end. I thought that was unnecessary and dumb.
Literally the seduction of the dark side.
Oh, nice. So you think
he murders all our friends,
going naked in the water was part of the quote unquote seduction? Maybe trying to make a play for Osha's vape.
I didn't mind it.
Of course you didn't.
It's not like it hasn't been done before. I mean, we've seen Hayden without his shirt and Adam without his shirt.
Ain't nobody seen me without my shirt, and I got my own show. I'm not even in a I haven't had that much wine. We're not okay. Yes. I agree. I thought that the conversation. Thank you, Scare. They made it seem like Kamir was close to Saul from the Forest conversation, but then we learned Venestra has history with him. But he potentially would have known him because they were all at the same time in the academy, about the same level as they were. He was just a little. Saul was just a bit behind Venestra, from the way I understand it. But you're right. I didn't think of that. How is it that Saul knows everybody, or no, I'm sorry, Kamir knows everything and everybody, and everyone's like clueless? Do you think that's a part of the blinding of the dark side, that they're not able to see, like what was happening in Phantom Menace and Clone Wars?
I don't know, because Venestra at this point in time is about 100. I don't know if this is the same Padawan, but she did have she was the youngest Jedi Knight at 16.
Impressive.
She had a Padawan, and I can't remember what happened, but she lost him. I don't know if she thinks he died, and because Kamir said something about, my master abandoned me or whatever.
Well, and he had the scars on his back. You're right.
Right. That's from the whip. And so I just can't figure out why he looks so young. Because he looks human. He doesn't look like a different species or an alien.
Right.
So I don't know if he's using some kind of force mask. Kind of like what,
Alpi did.
Sidious did. Yeah.
Yes. No, Andrew, I will not do it for the final episode here on GNN. Rodney, I will keep my shirt on. Although you've seen me without the shirt. Look, listen. Hey, if Kylo can do it, Kamir can do it, Kadena can do it. No, we're not. So here's my thing with Kamir, and I'd love your thoughts. I believe that truly he is not Sith by what we've seen. I do not believe he has the Sith drive, desire, whatever. He just wants to have someone to mentor, and it's a part of the show that I didn't really consider until the end. I think probably around episode 7. We didn't talk about it last week, but the whole I want a pupil, and I don't care who it is. And Soul, I know that May is my like I have a connection. Why do you think that seemed to be the focus? Is that something that art reflects society? So why do you think that was important for Leslie and company to put together? And if you say there was no thought, I can't agree to that. They had some reason to have both the Jedi and the Sith trying to attain a learner, a student. Why do you think that is? Why so important? I don't know. I'm asking.
It's in the name of the show.
That's the name of the show. So because it's the name of the show, it should be the focus of the show. Is I don't know if I agree. Surely there's more to that. But I guess in your point, Cam, over and over again, yeah, it probably could have been, but there ain't.
Yeah, I mean, Scarif said it earlier. I mean, we don't know what these people want. We don't know what the motivations are because they change immediately. 20
the May
minutes
Osha
earlier.
thing pissed me off. Did it piss you guys off? Like just magically all of a sudden she's dark side Osha.
I don't care because I don't care about their characters. They're not interesting. They're supposed to be the main characters, and we're supposed to feel for them, but they're not interesting.
You're right. All we're talking about is around them. We're talking about Indara. We're talking about Saul. We're talking about Kamir. We're talking about Vanestra. We're talking about Yoda. We're not even talking about the main characters of the show, Osha and May. I think
Like,
that's a real problem.
It is. If your main characters are not like appealing to your audience in terms of keeping them invested in their story, no one's going to stick around for the story. Luckily, well, now they technically really only have like one. Well, I don't know. You got Darth Gollum, but I mean, you got potentially two really interesting Sith characters that you can explore. I think there's still ways that they can make May and Osha interesting. If they do a season 2, I just don't know if this writers group is capable of doing that.
Yeah.
And I'm going to stand by that.
So what would have made you, Zane, care a little more about Osha or May?
They didn't have anything that was pushing me to like them in the story. You know, I felt Mir had this mysterious backstory that you're like, oh, what are you saying? You know, Soul was just this like fatherly figure that you kind of attached to. But the main characters, I just couldn't. There was nothing.
Could you relate to either? I mean,
they just felt like
bratty
sisters. They felt like two bratty sisters.
Could you relate to them or either or? I mean, I know you talked a little bit about some of the other characters in here. Yord you loved. I don't know why. Oh, no shirt. Just kidding.
No, I didn't. I was not part of the Yord horde. No.
Yord. Damn it, Yord.
As annoying as you know what.
Yord.
Shirtless Yord?
I did not like him.
Debbie, did you feel any sort of way, connection or otherwise to the May or Osha characters? I don't want to blame the actress. Look, I know they take direction. She's not going to be being paid to be in a major, Hollywood production, whatever television series, unless she's a decent actress. So I can't be the first thing that I go to is the actress. I have to go to their boss, which is their director or their writer.
She was good in the Hunger Games, wasn't she? In the Hunger Games?
Yes, yes. Thank you. So was the goal to make her like unrelatable? Sorry, I talked all over that, Debbie. But no, what are your thoughts on that? Like, could you connect? I mean, I don't know if it matters. You're a girl, they're female. I don't know. Like,
no, because it didn't go the way I thought it might with the two characters. And it got confusing when they said they were not twins, they were one person or something.
Yeah.
That got confusing, and I was like, what the action? Quit it. Assholes.
Well, it wasn't just Cam. I mean, Cam was just reflecting the.
Let's get it going, chat. Let's get it going, chat.
We gotta.
No, and no.
All right, we're done. No, I said we're done with that. Stop.
Yeah. Woo!
Yeah. So yeah, when they started going into their one person, and then I thought, well, maybe I don't know. I thought maybe when I thought back on it, I thought, well, maybe the Ascension was the witches or whoever trying to make them one person or something.
Yeah.
I don't know. But I was more interested in Chimere. I loved Soul, and I really liked Jackie.
Yes, I did love me some Jackie for real. I think they could have done more with her too.
Story of the show, brother.
they were starting to build her up a little bit and develop her a bit, and I was stoked, and then you killed her.
Well, at least lightsabers kill people now. That's a thing I like that the show brought back.
Maybe that's a past thing. Maybe in the future, lightsabers.
Yeah,
but in the past,
lightsabers just don't do as much damage anymore post Return of the Jedi.
They got nerfed. Nerfed.
Can we talk about that for a second? Look, listen, lore master, somebody find me the picture of when Osha starts to turn the crystal red. It starts to bleed the crystal. First of all, folks, from a lore perspective, I'm fine with this. I'm 100%.
I think it's pretty sick, to be honest with you, if it's done well.
The crystal 100%. Or the lightsaber?
Bleeding the crystal, I'm down with. I'm fine. Even though I grew up with a piece of lore that said they were synthetic kyber crystals, and that's why they were red. That's what I grew up with, and I'm okay with that.
They were hard to find. So, bleeding crystals was not a thing because everybody was like, well, why didn't Anakin's bleed? Blah, 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 blah. It wasn't embedded then. Okay. Yeah. It didn't come around until the Vader comics.
That's right.
And he almost died bleeding his, which is, I had a gripe with how they did it in Survivor. Of course, it's kind of like, they kind of make it seem like it's not all the way red, at least in the way it looks in the scene. Mm-hmm. But the way it was done in this show, I was like, I think that would have added a lot of characters, or would have added a decent amount of depth to May if we would have got a 10, I don't know, scene or something about her going through that process. Like she kills, the lightsaber stays the way it is, and then Chimere walks her through the importance of bleeding a crystal, because like the fact that probably top 3 strongest dark side users almost died doing his.
Yeah.
And you let these people in these games and these shows do it with such ease, like Dagan Gera's like floating it in the air, and it's still a very powerful, it's done well in Jedi Survivor in terms of a powerful scene and making you feel like, wow, this guy does truly feel betrayed and anger towards the Jedi. They kind of missed the boat on it in the Acolyte, but I think it's a cool concept that the new canon does.
Maybe it's different for depending on the person. I mean, I know with Anakin, with Vader, and I haven't read the comics, I just did a little bit of research, but because he still had a bit of light force in him, the crystal was fighting him. Is my understanding. Correct me if I'm wrong.
Yeah,
no, you're right. But why doesn't Osha just finds out her mom died, and it's just that's enough. The crystal's not gonna
Right.
fight back. Does Soul's crystal feel like a certain sense of?
But she's been pissed for years. That's why she couldn't become a Jedi, because she couldn't lose or get rid of her feelings, her hatred at that time for her sister, what she thought was her sister killing her whole family. That's what she thought. She had a lot of pent up anger. And then to top it off, to find out that it was because Soul killed her mother, one of her mothers. Yeah. Now, would I have liked to have seen her have some emotion, like maybe tears running down her face, or snarling or something, because it was just blank face.
Like most of the series.
Yes.
For both characters. She acts the exact same way for both.
Yeah.
If you didn't have clothes, you wouldn't know who's different.
I would have liked to have seen some emotion during that scene right there, showing that, yeah, she is pissed off.
So, real quick, joining the show, Kat. Hello, Kat. Shield Maiden. And David Furr of Cantina and MCU. And Dr. Zane, for Pete's sake. Darth Zane.
It's me.
No, you're whatever. Here's what I wanted to point out here real quick. What's wrong with this picture when she ignites the lightsaber? What's going to happen?
The crystal
is going to what?
Burn her.
Yes, it's going to freaking take her hand off. Did they miss this? They made this like, oh, look, she's touching the crystal and she's bleeding it. Now watch us ignite it, but her hand stays just fine. Like, I can't get past that. I was stuck on this as soon as I saw it.
You know what? I think this is the first time I've actually noticed that, or I actually did notice that she was actually touching the crystal.
Yeah.
It's weird.
Yeah, because the structure of lightsabers, like the actual engineering behind a lightsaber, that crystal is fully enclosed and you're not actually touching the crystal.
Yeah.
Which is where the whole bleeding the crystal concept is. Obviously, like Debbie said, it's part of the comics, which is how they kind of came up with it. Rather than the way that it originally was, which was kyber crystals were red because the Sith, rather than going out and hunting for kyber crystals to get a saber, were basically creating cubic zirconia ones.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
And they couldn't, so the only color those crystals came in was red.
Yep.
Luke had one.
Yeah.
Luke did have one.
Amen, brother.
A synthetic crystal. Absolutely.
Great Jedi that guy was.
Oh, shut your pie hole. That is not
That
a
was
thing.
great.
I mean, he was
guy.
a human trafficker. It's
Great
fine.
Great guy.
Great guy.
Right.
Great guy with his tiny little hands.
Tiny little. It's great.
No, I knew
Telling
Luke.
you.
I knew
Wonderful.
Luke. Great guy. Great guy. Great guy.
No, what? The limit of people's all right.
Yeah, you're only allowed 6.
Oh,
Boo.
right. That's right. In 2 weeks,
Boo.
we'll try to do this a little different. We'll see what happens. But yeah, man. Hey, welcome to the show. I can't wait to hear your thoughts on even more stuff. Kat, you've been a part of our show probably a third of the time.
Yeah.
Which is freaking awesome. David, you got your own thing, and of course, I love the Legos. Are we doing a Lego thing at the end of the? Are we going to do another Advent thing at the end of the year?
Of course.
Oh, fantastic!
I've done it.
Lego
I've done
builds,
it
man.
2 years in a row. Why wouldn't I?
The Lego builds.
I look
They're
forward
freaking
to
rock.
that.
David, you got the pre-orders in that could release next month?
No. David doesn't play that game. I'm not. Here's the thing. And I don't know why, but I'm always on a. For some reason, I've been on a pirate kick lately, and this kind of bleeds in. I don't know why, but it just kind of bleeds into my pirate kick. I've been buying a lot of pirate Legos, pirate ships, and things like that, and
That's
a
cool.
lot. But part of my thing with the Star Wars Legos is the hunt, the looking for it, the finding it. I don't like to have it just here. Have it. pre-ordered. Yeah, we're just
That's a bunch of that, man.
Oh, he's
So,
chasing
look,
listen dope from
Listen, so
Yeah.
I
getting from
chased
finding
down.
Legos. Oh, I got you.
yeah.
I said this
Yeah.
on an episode earlier in our series this year, and I was talking about a set of action figures that I collected for my children, Zane and Madison, and they are in a box. Wait, they are in star cases in a box, and it is every single solitary episode 3 action figure with
Wow.
mistakes.
Yeah.
So you have, I've got Palpatine with blue sabers. I've got
They're not in the
freaking,
box anymore.
like, oh,
They're hanging up on a shelf.
you
Like-
shut your mouth.
Yeah.
What do you mean you don't have them in the box? Like the star cases?
No, they're in the cases. They're not in
Oh.
the giant box because
They're not in storage boxes. I
Hold
got
on a
it. I
second.
got it.
they're on
Hold on.
like the shelf.
Is
Our Daniel's about to
displaying
lose
those
it.
in the house?
They're
They
displayed.
were in our guest room, but most of them are either in my room now or like just upstairs.
So
Yeah, Dr.
Zane's
Daniel's
stepdad and I both have a very
you
huge.
through the chat here. Like
Zane's stepdad and I have a affection for Star Wars like no other,
Like no
and
other.
so I'm very happy to know that they are being displayed
They're
and not
sitting
just in the box somewhere. But those are UV star cases, so yeah, keep them.
Perfect.
But so I get it, David.
Crack
Right?
'em up.
That's a hunt. I mean, you gotta.
Oh yeah.
I
It's more,
wanted
fun.
the
It's more fun that way.
well, but I wanted the R2 for my wife, the previous one. And-
I got it. It came with the exclusive it's still in stores. You can still go to Walmart.
no, not that one.
No,
This
you've got to get that one because that one comes with the
Mallet.
Mallet.
the mallet.
Yeah, I've got this one. I'm talking about the one prior. That was
Oh,
like
the,
$200
the,
bucks,
UC,
and now
the
it's
UCS one, yeah.
yeah, this is ginormous. It was probably about what 3 times the size of that one, 2 times the size of that one. Did you get that one?
No.
Oh.
The buildable figures now. I do have one buildable figure, and he's actually right here. I've got him just because I got him for like $20, and it was somebody just. I honestly think it was a girl that had just broken up with her boyfriend, and it was the revenge cell.
Good for you.
So I got two. I got an
That poor guy.
I got an Infinity Gauntlet Lego set, and I got
Oh
hang on.
God.
I've got
He's
him
just
right-
hanging around like divorce court. Like,
Oh,
Yeah.
oh my gosh,
Let's
is that
go.
BD?
That is BD.
Oh,
I got him. I got them both for $40.
Okay, look,
So-
I was hearing her talking shit about the sidekicks, but that's pretty sick, man.
So yes, and I think he's honestly, I would say
Look
he's
at the
probably
head.
like life size. So
That's
Yeah.
insane.
yeah, the head does all the cool little things. So, but yeah, I think it. Like I said, I honestly think it was a revenge sell, and so I picked him up for cheap. And one day when I need some new Legos and I don't have any money, he will be sold. So
That's
Yeah.
fantastic.
Heck yeah.
Oh my goodness.
his time is limited. Let's just say that.
Do you sell them once you're completed, or do you glue them and keep them? What's
No.
your-
glue?
You don't glue them. All right?
No, never.
Sacrilege. No, there are some that I have that I will sell. Like I've got a Darth Vader helmet and the Boba Fett helmet, and those will go eventually. But those are ones that like we'll get to Christmas time or my birthday or something, and it's like, hey, we want to get you some Legos, and it's like I've got everything. I don't really need
Yeah.
anything. So it's like, oh well, here, take this one instead. And so it's like, okay, well,
Yes.
we'll just that's the savings account for when I
So
need.
for anyone watching today or watching in the future or listening in the podcasts in the future, I come in a size TIE Fighter helmet for Legos. I know they don't make it anymore.
No,
but for
and
the
that's
love
a
of God,
brutal one to get. That one's like the
I
most
want
expensive
that's the one. Like I've got every one that I want except for that one of the busts.
So I've got 4 of the buildable figures. I never collected those. I've got 4 of them. I've got the Darth Vader. I've got the Boba Fett. I've got Luke Skywalker, and I've got the biker scout on the speeder bike. And
Oh,
the only reason I got that one was because it was on clearance at Walmart for like $11, and I was
Oh
like,
my God.
$11, totally worth it.
we are
so my
geeking
TIE
out.
Fighter helmet Lego set that we have to put back together because there was a cat related incident. Not cat me, cat is in meow meow.
Yeah.
Send it to me. I'll put it back together for you.
Yeah.
You won't ever see it again, though. That's
Yeah.
the problem.
One of the local stores here during lockdowns, what they would do is they would do auctions once a week on their Facebook page. And so we bought the sets through an auction on their pages and then went and picked them up in the store.
Heck yeah.
Cam is actually sending me. Cam's got some figures he was sending me that I guess somebody gave him, and I'm waiting, Cam. If you're watching, I'm waiting. I'm still waiting. So
Yeah,
he's like, do you want these? And I'm like, you want me to say no to Lego? Are you crazy?
Yeah, no, I don't want those. Are you kidding me? Why would I take those?
No.
All right. So let's talk a little bit about, because I did not catch y'all's Thursday show where y'all talked about all of this. So I'd be interested to hear y'all's thoughts as well on some of this, specifically what it has to do with we've talked about the bleeding the crystals already, but specifically Saul. Do you feel maybe they played him a little bit wrong and that they could have maybe done a little better with him or given us a little more of him in a positive way? Because they kind of patsied him a little bit.
This episode of the series in general.
Yes.
Okay, the series in general, the way they wrote that script. Okay, and y'all have worked with me plenty of times to know that I'm not one of these like really super soft, sensitive, like they said what people. But the episode when they were doing the flashback about how he wanted an apprentice and, oh, look, these poor girls are in danger. We must go take them. That was cringy.
Yeah.
That was cringy as can be. I was like, hold up. Did nobody read this script?
But to be fair, he told Trinity. He told Trinity. Yeah, he told Trinity. He said, I feel something that I need to. It feels like the Force is bringing us together. You know,
That's just as cringy as the rest of what he was saying.
Why?
But not as cringy as Kamir grabbing Osha's hand?
No, not as cringy, no. I mean, other than the fact that we now know that there's a big age gap but Kamir doesn't look it. But, and let's look at this here for a minute from, David, you're a parent, right?
Yeah.
So now you have boys, though. You don't have any girls, right?
I do have a girl, but
you have a daughter. Okay.
She's old and gone.
Okay. So let's look at it from that perspective.
She's on her own.
You're at the mall,
mm-hmm.
and some other man thinks that you're neglecting your daughter, and she must be abandoned. What a horrible father. I feel that I need to go take her somewhere safe and take care of her. Doesn't that scream stranger danger to you?
But you've got to look at it in context. I mean, this was what the Jedi did, and this was
they're human traffickers.
I mean, they're human traffickers, and like I told Debbie too when the first like 2 episodes aired, these Jedi were really dumb because they were completely ignoring the Prime Directive. You know, they were on a planet that they thought was lifeless, and what did they do? What's the first thing that they did? They go and interfere with the life that's there.
Well, but here's my thing. If he would have dropped it when it was like, oh, they're not abandoned. Oh, look, they have a parent here that does care about them, and they weren't supposed to be out in the woods by themselves. If he would have dropped it at that point, or dropped it when the council was like, no, we're not going to pursue this, it might have been like, okay, he was just being a dumb Jedi. But it carried on beyond that to a level that was a little cringy.
But the fact that there was a virgins on that planet, and that's what they were there looking for.
Yep.
And then all of a sudden you've got
the script made it sound.
Huh?
The way the script was written, it was really cringy. It was like he was using the virgins as like his reason why he needed to steal these 2 girls to become their grandmaster.
Come on. No.
Well, and I think I might have said this on here last week, maybe, or maybe I said it on our show on Cantina, but it was set up right from the beginning when he's teaching the younglings and he says, do not trust your eyes, they deceive you. He didn't practice what he was preaching because did we just lose
We
somebody?
just lost Dr.
Go.
You
Dana.
didn't lose me.
Oh.
Kathleen
did I
Kennedy
offend
kicking my guy
somebody?
off.
Who's
Kathleen
funded
Kennedy,
it?
shut your pie hole, Mr. Martin. I'm
Who's
talking to you.
Dana?
No, you're Mr. Martin to me.
Who's
Dana
running
is
this
not
show?
on the Lucasfilm payroll. We can confirm. He's
Can't
not on the
confirm.
Lucasfilm payroll.
But anyways, all of his assumptions and conclusions were based on little bits and pieces of scenes that he's seen. He didn't bother to get the whole story. He was just jumping off of what he's seen. He's seen Mother when they were in the forest. He's seen Coral being very strict with them. Oh my God, I'm going to get sick. Quit moving me around.
You're making Debbie seasick. It's all the moving.
And it was the same thing when he was inside the fortress and he just seen the little bit of training. All he seen was the other mother force pushing him. He's seen that and he just naturally assumed, oh my God, child abuse.
So, from a certain point of view,
Yes, because he didn't have all the information. He didn't bother to find out all the information. And therefore, emotion took over.
So would you say that when it comes to Saul, his motivation got in the way of the mission?
yes, absolutely.
And
Because
go ahead.
they were searching for that the whole reason that they were there was that virgins and his curiosity killed the cat. That's
Well,
sorry,
then-
cat.
You know, he preached like, I'm here, like we have to prove the virgins, we have to prove it. Even though you think that was lip service, he was deeply more. He just
no, because they thought the twins were the virgins, which they weren't.
They were. They weren't.
No, they weren't.
They're not the virgins.
They were that was specifically called out that they are not the virgins. They were created through the virgins. The virgins was used to help create the twins.
Synthetic kyber crystal. They are a synthetic kyber crystal. They are not actual kyber. Like, yes, I got you.
Pretty much, yeah. And the fact too that and y'all were talking about this before I jumped in. You know, you've got those twins, and they're not really twins. They're both the same person. And y'all were talking about bleeding the crystal and whatnot. And the whole time you're thinking that Osha was the good twin and May was the bad twin. But then when really it boils down to it, they flipped it on you. May was actually the good twin because, I mean, even at the end, she was like, we've got to, Saul's got to go. And she's like, no. And what's his name was telling her, you got to kill Saul. And she's like, no, I want him brought to justice. He's got to go to trial. He's got to be in front of the council and all this other stuff. And Osha just went straight up and was like, gone. Kill him without the weapon, just like you wanted.
Kind of
I
like
just can imagine she would turn that
with
way.
Palpatine.
What was that, Debbie?
Hear me out on
Mace
this.
with Palpatine. Anakin wanted Palpatine.
Yeah, she's not meant
I
to
mean,
say
he
that.
had
Ulterior motive.
no, whatever. He had other motives. Anyways, he was saying, no, you can't kill him because, he needs to go, in front of the Senate and, have a trial, whatever.
Bullshit.
And then Mace was like, no, he's too powerful.
I am.
Anakin was totally self-serving. Anakin was not, you stand trial. I need him.
Yeah,
That's what he said, right? So
that was why he wanted him to stand trial, was because I need him alive. And if you
I
kill
want to
him,
say Padme. Yep.
if
and I
you kill
think
him,
in this case with May and Osha, Osha, some of her rage and some of that like uncontrolledness, where May has always been able to think for herself, and May has always made choices based on what she felt was best. You even see that when they're trying to do the Jedi testing, and she's like, I'm just going to fake this off because I don't want to go.
Because she was under the manipulation of her mothers, or the one mother.
Well,
And
I
why-
mean, maybe the mothers were better. Let's just put it that way.
Yeah.
She's a lot cooler.
That
But then
Zach.
Osha was like, oh, well, these people say that I should be doing this because this is going to be a greater cause for me. And then the Jedi kind of shaped and manipulated the entire story. So now Osha knows that her sister didn't really start the fire. So she's finding out that her entire life is a lie because of this dude that kidnapped her.
Well,
But
Osha,
Osha never wanted to do the ascension, and this was even before.
Yep.
Right, but she didn't want to, but that she was going to do it because it's what people told her to do. So her people pleasing was resulting in her doing all these things she didn't want to do. But then now, at this point in her life, she's finding out how much of what she was told once she went with the Jedi was a lie.
Do you think that's enough in the let's go kind of backwards here and look at the back office stuff. Do you think it's enough what they did to be able to set up a season 2? We talked a little bit about potential season 2 stuff, but we're digging into pieces about Soul and pieces about Osha and May that on a season 2 could really be fleshed out. I think, was it you, Debbie, or Cam? Someone mentioned about how we thought they might kind of try to merge them together in some form of fashion to make an actual person again. Did we think this? And if so, is that something maybe in the future? I'd love to know your thoughts on that as well, like for that piece, Cam.
That sounds stupid.
I gotta agree with Cam on this one. Like,
Yeah. You
I
don't
know.
think? I mean,
That
why
is-
else would they introduce it that way?
Maybe
I mean,
to,
unless they left that part on the cutting room floor, which they could have.
to
It's too late.
not use my typical answer and say they don't know or they didn't think about it. Maybe to show that, despite how powerful this version is on the planet, the witches still weren't able to achieve what the Force is later able to do with Anakin in creating him, and they're just able to show the fact that maybe the witches were not able to perfect this craft that they truly wanted to do. But I don't know what the Ascension was, but I don't think anybody else knows what it was supposed to do either. So maybe that is the plan, but I think that's a stupid plan.
So the
So when-
ascension kind of gets back to the rule of 2. It's essentially you are taking over the place of whoever is your leader.
So would and not Anastasia? Would
So
she
the
have
twins, the twins are going to replace them, Anastasia.
Yeah. It's basically, it's like it's like ascending the throne.
Okay.
Now the Sith do it in the way of, you ascend once you kill your master.
100%?
But if I remember correctly, and Debbie, you may know this lore better than I do. Usually at that point with the Witches of Dathomir, it was almost in the best way to explain it is it's almost like the Dread Pirate Roberts.
Where it just
They take over the coven, and the original elder just basically kind of like starts to blend in with the rest of the coven, and so on and so forth.
right. I can see that, but that I don't know. I think this whole Virgins piece, and having May and Osha not be two different people, I'm kind of with Cam here. I think they had some good ideas, but they didn't really write them out in a way that could be wrapped up in 8 episodes for $180 million.
I
35 minutes an episode, if that.
yeah. I think they were pushing for a season 2. I think the fan backlash and the audience score is going to cancel season 2. Would I like to see a follow up? Yes. as far as season 2 goes, yes, I'd love to see a season 2. If it comes in book form or comic book form, because they're not going to do a show, because
Give me some books.
then I'll be fine with that too.
But why push for a season 2? Why not just make a good season and you don't have to worry about pushing for a season 2?
True.
If it's a good if it's like Andor and it's a good season, I want more. You know?
Yeah.
Amen.
So,
But
That
a lot
would've
of people
solved-
didn't like Andor either, but it's still got a
Well,
season 2.
but those people are crazy. So
Yeah, they're smoking
I'm just
something.
saying,
They're the
there's a
idiots.
lot of people with the backlash on Andor. I mean, and
Look, I mean,
won't
for
name
much
names,
crap
but-
that we
So
all have
boring.
given, here we are talking about Andor, and Andor is not the most fast-paced Star Wars series. It's not the most, flashy, sabery, whatever series. No, but the story, the writing, the directing, everything is chef's kiss. Can we agree on that?
Yeah.
Well,
Totally.
they got some writers that know what they're doing.
So does it matter who is doing it? Yes, it does matter who's doing it, because there was a lot of callbacks to Rogue One in that show, which means that there was research done to assure continuity and not just we're going to do it this way. I feel like, and this is, F it. If you guys think I'm stupid, fine. But I just feel like there was a lot of, this is the story we want to tell. And if it kind of changes or moves where people are within the canon, so what? This is what we want to do, as opposed to creating something that's freaking awesome and cool. And I don't know, maybe I'm just a jerk and think things should be the way I want them. But I just feel like they didn't really consider the entirety of the lore when they did this. That's just my opinion.
There's some validity in that. They could have chose anybody to say Ki-Adi-Mundi's line in that one episode, but the fact that they threw him in there shows the fact, like, oh, y'all know this guy, y'all know what he says in Phantom Menace.
I know what you're trying to do, Cameron. You're trying to get me to go to Yoda because you have a lot to say, and I'm ready. Let's do
I do.
it. Yoda.
Then we're
Yoda
gonna
at the end of the episode gets told a fucking lie and can't sense it. Okay, that's all I have to say. Everybody else, talk amongst yourselves.
Well, they
pissed me off.
show my little green man, and they can't decide what they want him to look like. Whether they want him in old puppet Empire form, looking all crusty and dusty, or if they want maybe only 600, 700-year-old Yoda. I don't know how old he is. It's got to be somewhere around in there.
Hold on, time out. This name, I don't know who this is.
I
But
love
OG
it.
Revanite, thank
I
you.
love it.
100%.
Right here.
Yeah,
Thanks for showing out, brother.
Oh, yeah.
I got Revan right here.
Kenobi.
On top of this, we're going to shoehorn, we're going to throw in Darth Gollum for 5 seconds, a character that any average fan that's watching the show would have no idea who that is. Only people that actually have read the extended lore would know who that is.
I am so glad you said that, because when Debbie said that, and I was like, I had no idea. And Debbie's like, oh, that was. I was like, yeah, it's Gollum. What is Gollum doing there?
Yeah.
Oh no, that's Plagueis. I'm like, oh, all right, well.
Which is the exact opposite of how he is in his book. But we'll get to that later. They key jangle little green man at the end. He can't, he senses Anakin slaughtering all the Tusken Raiders, but he can't sense the, red shirts that died a few episodes ago.
Thank you.
Now, Debbie, you touched on this, I think, on our show, though. I don't think he caught Anakin actually slaughtering. Was it you, Debbie, or somebody said? Maybe it was Anna.
He heard Qui-Gon.
He heard Qui-Gon, because the voice that he heard through that vision with Anakin was Qui-Gon. Anakin, no.
Yeah.
So he heard Qui-Gon. He didn't. Yeah, I agree.
Well, and he could sense that Anakin was in pain.
Yeah.
Well, because Qui-Gon said his name, and so he's like, okay, I've got to focus in on Anakin to find out what's going on with Anakin.
Okay, so he can't. You're telling me that Yoda cannot sense any of the events that transpired, even an inkling of something that would indicate.
Did he sense when Qui-Gon died?
We don't know.
I don't know. Wasn't
Exactly.
showed.
But
He's
he
not
can
going to feel every freaking thing. I mean, Jesus Christ. I mean, yeah, he felt all the Jedi dying during Order 66, because how many died at the same time?
Yeah, but this is a time of peace.
Yeah,
is it not?
Agreed.
But
So you would feel that disturbance or that movement in the Force that is not okay. you know, like he would feel. I don't know. 900 years. The dude's been around for a freaking eon. There's no way. I get that Sidious was powerful and able to blind him to whatever he was doing, whatever they were doing. I get that the dark side had blinded them. I get that. But to say that occurred in this instance 100 years prior, no way. No way he doesn't sense that.
That's just the thing, though. It's a time of peace. It's a time of peace. They're not looking for it. They don't need to.
Is it possible that he developed that? Because there are certain force abilities, such as force telepathy, which is essentially what we're talking about with Yoda, that are skills that you can develop. Is it possible that at this point in time, he has not developed it to the point that he has developed it by the time we see it in episodes, whatever they are?
Yeah,
possible.
Possible, but
I mean, you're talking about a time frame 100 years prior to.
Yeah,
and he's still learning crap because he talks about to commune with to commune with those that we've lost or whatever. So I get it. Like, you're still learning. I have one more lesson for you. Yeah, I get that, but that's a stretch for me. It's a stretch because it is a time of peace. So for me, any wrinkle is going to be sensed. But maybe there wasn't a wrinkle of all these.
The real problem with this, and we're not talking about it, is Vanestra, the absolute worst character in this show.
I agree.
Lying for absolutely no reason. None. Blaming Soul for no reason.
I mean, the Jedi are a lot more like the Sith than they want to
She
admit.
didn't just blame Soul. She picked Soul up and threw him direct underneath the bus.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
And I was like,
how can he defend himself? He's freaking dead.
Yeah, but that's just it. That's where, like,
you know what? That's why we need a season 2, so Soul's Force Ghost can come back and haunt her.
For Pete's sake, Dave.
Throw me under the bus, will you? I'll see how much sleep you get when I'm chatting your ear off all night long.
Another thing from the episode, the talk she has with the senator. They've done this whole thing that they're insinuating that the Jedi's actions that we're seeing on screen are going to insinuate Anakin's fall to the dark side. Do they not realize if Palpatine hadn't have done what he did to manipulate the stuff that was going on during that era, Anakin, if he falls to the dark side, gets stopped by the Jedi.
Yeah. We know this.
Yeah, like they're trying to make these shitty self-righteous Jedi that we're getting in this show make it seem like that's going to be the reason why the prequel Jedi fall and Anakin turns and all that. That's not the reason why. But
the reason why
I don't know. I guess I've just
No, you're right.
Watched other stuff.
No, you're right. And when you look at the seduction of the dark side, no, Debbie, I disagree. The whole Khmer and OSHA is not that.
Quit hating on shirtless Khmer, man.
I just can't.
I'm riding with Debbie on this
one. I can't get on board with the shirtless Khmer.
Shirtless Khmer for life.
No,
better than the Yord Horde.
I'm waiting to go. I'm waiting to go to Comic-Con or Fan Fest later on this year and see how many people are dressed as Khmer for the. I want to see that cosplay.
That'd be a sick dark.
Could you imagine a group
cosplay?
Of shirtless
forget shirtless Khmer. I'm going to go with jumping into the pool naked Khmer.
Ooh, that'd be fun. Just dressed with the red hot
okay, and we talked about this on the show. If you're not going to join me, at least give me my clothes. Was he talking about joining him in the pool, or was he talking about joining him as his pupil?
It's Star Wars only fans. Here we go.
I think he was talking about the pool brother.
He was the dragon one way or the other.
Yeah, he's throwing that out there. He's trying to be cool.
I think that was one of those ones where it was just kind of a broad net, and he was going to see which way it was going to go.
Mm-hmm.
You want to join me on the dark side or in the pool? Either one. I'm good with either one. You know.
Darth Gollum is hiding around in a cave, wondering what his next play is.
See,
we are not to that point yet, brother.
OG Revenite.
Uh-oh.
Kathleen, at it again.
At it again.
Free Dana. Free Dana.
Free Dana. Oh my gosh.
I mean, do it.
Plagueis was hiding a lot. So it's not
Plagueis'
inconceivable.
thing
But,
for a long time. He was just
and
skulking around.
well,
But,
and
but you got to think too. In this era,
this is 100 years.
all of the Sith are always hiding. In fact, all the way up until Episode 1, where Maul has the line. He says, "At last we will reveal ourselves to the Jedi. At last we will have our revenge." You know, obviously the Sith are lurking in the shadows and have been for quite a while now.
Well, and it almost makes sense that that's where Plagueis is influencing the Force to blind the vision of the Jedi. At the beginning, this is 100 years before, but then it also makes sense now if he started around this time. The Jedi is a very big order, and using his Force, it's going to take a long time to blind the Jedi with what's happening. I don't know.
He ain't sulking around in a cave, brother. I'm sorry. I'm just not vibing with it. There's a difference between hiding in the shadows while still being a prominent finance broker guy, meeting with senators, walking around on Coruscant while still hiding yourself as probably the most powerful Sith at that time.
But we don't know in what capacity he's there for. Did he just arrive? Is he spying on Khmer?
Is
Khmer truly his pupil? Is he trying to figure out what Khmer is doing? Or did he just happen on the planet because it has cortosis? We don't know why he's there. Really. I mean, he's there, and he's not even in the cave. He's in the outer rock formation where the ship is. So we don't know in what capacity he's there for.
Well, and we know that Khmer was never confirmed 100%.
I got it, Debbie. I got it. I'm working on it.
Yeah.
Dana can't get back in. He's been kicked off his own freaking show.
Oh my gosh. Khmer was never confirmed Sith. He just said the Jedi might call me.
Might call me a Sith.
Oh my god, brother. I'm not vibing with it.
Plagueis is like, what's happening? Why are you doing this?
Well, and it could be it could be the kind of thing like Debbie said, to where it's not. It's.
There.
He's back. Debbie, close your eyes. Close your eyes.
I know. I'm getting seasick again.
It's gonna. Is this what we're doing now? Me and
Listen, I'm sitting here talking. I'm like, I don't know if y'all can hear me, but yeah, you're right, OG Rev Knight. That's a good thought. Blah blah blah. And I'm like, I don't know what's happening. Should I keep talking? Should I shut up?
We lost Dana. We're just gonna keep going.
Yeah, keep going for Pete's sake. I'll shut up. Here, watch.
Anyways,
you said it again.
No, I'm for real. I'm just I'm chilling. Whatever, man. No, I like what that last comment that OG Rev Knight said. Just talking about how if Plagueis was really, as we understand him, seeking that truth, right, of everlasting life or what have you, certainly he would have felt the virgins on that planet as well. There's no doubt in my mind. Plagueis and Sidious were so freaking powerful. They would have felt that, one of them, and would have been there. That's just.
But this may have been how he discovered the virgins. I mean, he may not have known that there was a virgins on that planet, and being that he's following them around, this is how he discovers it and how he learns the secret of, because the tragedy. Let's look at the tragedy of Darth Plagueis the Wise. That was the thing, and he was so powerful in the dark side that he could influence the midichlorians to create life, and that's basically what these witches have done with this little girl, with these girls, is that they use the virgins to create life. Now, could they only do it at that one spot? Probably, because that virgins had to be there. Is Plagueis going to take it a step further and learn how to do it to where he can just do it anywhere, willy-nilly? That's possible as well. Oh, cameo, I saw it.
Well, so there's also something that in that conversation we kind of brought up, which takes us back to your little green friend there, Cam. The question of how did Yoda not sense it? Well, okay, I honestly forgot that planet has like tons of cortosis.
Yeah.
interferes with the Force. Like that's one of the reasons why there were certain areas Sith
And
was
so
because
does the Virgins. It'll hide
Yeah,
Force
the
sensitive
Cortosis.
people.
Yeah, I knew and so Cortosis, which is part of why his helmet's made out of the Cortosis.
Yep. Yeah, I
Is
think
that
it was a bracer.
it essentially kind of blocks the Jedi from a lot of that.
His Power Ranger mask.
Yeah.
Hold on 1 second.
But the Jedi dying wasn't on wasn't on the planet. All right, brother. All right. I'll sip my drink. It's all good.
I'm not going to let you leave, Debbie. Quite yet. Debbie, I cannot express how much appreciation I have for your engagement and involvement in the Sith Dominion with GNN over the last year. Thank you. And I want to make sure I say that for everyone. All right. Now, I get it. You're on the East Coast. Go to bed. Good night.
Bye, Debbie.
Good night.
Bye, Debbie.
Bye, guys. Love
Bye,
you.
Debbie.
Bye.
I'll see you Thursday.
All right. Now
Yeah,
that she's
see you
gone. Oh,
Thursday.
wait. She's not gone yet.
You know, I could say something, but I won't. Okay.
You should say something, but you won't.
It'll be a great last episode. Come on, do it.
Yeah.
See something, say something.
No,
OG, he fails. OG, but he
left-
fails in the book, right?
That was
The witches made it happen.
Yep, he does. He failed. So, but here's the
Which is
thing.
why
Right?
the Force
That's-
creates Anakin.
Look, in one person,
Mhm.
the balance is in one person. The balance is in two, but not really, because balance, according to Lucas,
It's not
Josiah,
a thing anymore, brother.
dog, what's up? Say it with your chest. That's right. Night, Debbie.
Get out of Ringo.
Where was I? Oh,
Anakin, one person.
Anakin, one person. And so maybe, yeah, I think they were trying to make that connection. I can agree to that. That he was doing his research, trying to figure this out. I think he could sense the Virgins, and he was there, the same as the Jedi, and knew something was up. And if his goal was to live eternally, then he would have been there by just logic, right? So I got one more question on this, but if we want to wrap this piece up, that's great, because I got a crazy question for you. Fuck it, it's my show. Here's the thing: when we look at Kamir, and we look at him, and he says well, you might call me a Sith. We've had some discussion. Is he? Is he not? Is he related? Like, is he a part of the Plagueis group? Is he not? Whatever. Balin Skull. I am no Jedi, but he never said he was a Sith. I'd love to take a moment on this episode to compare those two, because Balin is my dude. Like, I love that character. I love how he was written. I love his seeking of truth, not necessarily right, wrong, light, dark. He's looking for truth, and he's looking for a greater power than that he knows exists above and beyond him. Kamir, it's a little different. Doesn't quite say he's Sith, has a little bit different motivation. He's really looking for a pupil. I'd love to discuss the difference in those two characters for a second here. What are your thoughts on those two characters? Which one? I know we won't get any more Rey and Stevens, and that's super sad. If you only had one, which one would you choose? Which one has the, like, what are your thoughts on those two characters? Which one has the better potential storyline moving forward?
I think the Ray Stevenson one is more. He's more like Qui-Gon. He's more in tune with the living force. I don't like using. If you've ever watched my show, you know I hate the term "gray Jedi."
100% on
Absolutely. That's not a thing. If you think it is in chat,
Nope.
leave.
It's not.
See you later.
Yeah, Josiah. If you think Great Jedi
He
are a thing,
doesn't.
you can leave.
He
I'm
doesn't.
not.
Okay.
I'm
Never
not.
mind.
That's an oxymoron to me. It doesn't make any
Yep.
sense to me.
Nope.
But he's. I don't think he's a Jedi at all. I think he's a Force user. And I think he's a lot like Qui-Gon, to where he's, Qui-Gon said something to Obi-Wan. He's like, something about, he's always talking about the living force. We need to, be more in tune with the living force. And I think that's kind of where Balin is. Whereas I think Kabir is, I think it's really going to boil down for him to be, I'm seeking revenge on my old master, because, he didn't like the Green Lady either. So.
And you think that's going to be potentially, if they do a season 2, do you think that's going to be a major plot point?
I think it will be, because they touched on it, but they didn't go anywhere with it. Because she stepped off the ship and she was like, "Oh, it's you," and he thought, "Oh crap!" and he did the whole.
Got to put the Magneto helmet back on.
Yeah, the Juggernaut Magneto thing on, and said, "There you go."
See, I look at those two characters and I think they're two sides of the same coin. You're seeing one of them is the younger version that's still learning, and the other one is the older version who has a little bit more wisdom on his side. They both see the Force as, and both sides of the Force, not necessarily as good and evil or black and white as they're portrayed, but that that certain abilities within both sides of the light side and the dark side of the Force have their purpose.
Yeah.
He even makes that remark when she's looking at his helmet, it's just you and the Force. That's all it is.
I do like that. And Cam, I'd love your thoughts here. I do like that it is a sensory deprivation helmet as well, as a callback to learning or really being attuned to the Force. Zane, Cam, what are your thoughts on that?
Don't disagree. Would love to have seen more instead of that horrendous flashback episode from the same angle with additional 5 minutes that we got for episode 7.
Mm-hmm. Zane, on when Osha puts that on, and what happens when she starts freaking out? What is it that's, I don't know. I don't understand what's happening there.
Well,
why is she freaking out?
Didn't she say she saw May kill Soul?
That's right.
And she's, I mean, you have to think about it. She's being surrounded by just the Force. And we know that she couldn't be a Jedi because she has too many emotions. The dark side of the Force is tempting. She's surrounded by it right now.
Sure.
You said I saw May kill Saul, and we find out later that they're both the same person. She didn't see May kill Saul. She saw herself
kill Saul.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So
I still think that's some BS, man. I love the actor, and maybe that's a little bit of my partial to him. I just think they really screwed that character over bad. They made him look like a fool, and that really pissed me off, because in the beginning I was falling in love with that guy, because I too, in my side gig, right, is mentoring people, leadership training, like trying to help people grow and be better versions of themselves. So I could relate. And I think, Cam, we've talked about this, like the characters are not as relatable. And when they become relatable, you just screw them over, because Saul became a very relatable character, someone who tried to help someone who failed miserably, someone who still cared about that individual that they failed. And what they end up doing? Killing him. He has no chance, not even a single inkling of a chance to redeem his failure.
They did the same thing with Finn in the sequel trilogy.
It
started off so good. You could have had, there were so many ways you could have done that. And then he just kind of became a throwaway character.
Oh my God. I don't want to get upset. But yes.
I don't want to say who started that, but Ryan Johnson, I hope you're having a terrible day.
Ryan Johnson.
You're going to say Ryan Johnson? That's fine. Why didn't J.J. Abrams redeem it? J.J. Abrams just carried it on. So
you can't just blame. That movie's a whole abomination. I hate that movie too.
That movie, yes, I agree.
There's actual poop on the screen.
Listen, when you see names like that, you have to get a little bit excited. But now I don't. I don't, because of what happened to a couple of our beloved characters. beloved
I
character.
don't know. Woods. My wife said Knives Out is pretty good, but I ain't watching that. Not watching nothing that man ever puts out.
Oh,
I heard
I
that's good.
refuse.
watch it. It's amazing. It
I heard
really
it's
is.
good.
Nope.
It's
Not
so
watching
good.
it.
Boycott.
He
Damn
did an unforgivable sin to me, and I will never forgive him.
What is his unforgivable sin? Just so that everyone is aware on this
He
last.
completely
internet
bastardized my hero, and I will never forgive him.
And your hero is
Luke Skywalker, the greatest
There
Jedi
you
of
go.
all time.
Not in canon.
oh shit! Are you trying to start a fight?
I will leave the show.
I think you
I
agree.
will leave
I
the
think
show.
you agree. I think you agree. He's not the greatest Jedi right now in canon.
He is not
I
the
don't wanna
greatest
talk about
Jedi
it.
in canon. Who's the greatest Jedi in canon?
Yoda
Oh, F that.
or
Come on.
Qui-Gon. I'd go with
Qui-Gon.
Qui-Gon. Yeah,
Obi-Wan.
See, and I'm gonna lean to Obi-Wan.
or Obi-Wan. Yeah, I could go with Obi-Wan too.
I would say Ahsoka, but she's more of a Force user right now.
I would even
Great
go,
Jedi.
I would even go so far as to say Anakin. And when I say Anakin, I mean like
Anakin.
10-year-old Anakin all the way up through I just saved Luke Skywalker Anakin. So and that includes the Darth Vader part of it because that's good and bad. That's the light side.
Does
and
that
the dark
include the Luke Skywalker, or sorry, Anakin Skywalker that's now living in the world between worlds?
side. Why not? Yeah,
Help me
Greatest-
understand that
greatest Jedi.
timeline.
It's the Star Wars answer. It's the multiverse. It's exactly what it is. That's the Star Wars multiverse. That's how we can explain things. Well, why did Luke act like that? The multiverse. Oh, of course. It makes perfect sense now.
No, he acted like that because Ryan Johnson's a terrible person.
Look, I am not a fan of Mark Hamill for many things, but he is a hell of a voice actor and a hell of an actor, and I will never take that away from him. And when I hear his passion for a character, I'm just in some BS community theater, no big deal. But I own the character that I have, right? So from that perspective, like I get he owned that character of Luke Skywalker, and I believe it truly hurt him the way that Luke Skywalker was treated on screen. He did his best. The ever consummate professional. I don't have to agree with him on a lot of things, but as far as his acting, consummate professional, never talk crap, or once he was told not to talk crap, he didn't. Can we agree that what has happened to our heroes, in the plural, this is a great way to end the last 20 minutes of the show. What has happened over the last 3-4 years, 5 years,
10 years.
with our characters that we have that were beloved characters, do you feel it's been something that you can just sidle up and be a part of with what they're doing to them? Or do you feel that no, you're actually a little frustrated with them? And Luke Skywalker is the perfect example. Everything we knew of Luke, that we grew up with Luke, that we had with Luke as legends, now we felt he would have never turned his back on his friends. He turned his back on his training to save his friends. So in what universe other than what they've created do we feel that Luke Skywalker would have denied his friends, denied himself of the Force, and separated himself from the Force? What Luke Skywalker that we have ever known, even if we just look at canon in the series, would have done that? Cameron, is that your point?
Yes, he wouldn't have done that at all.
Are we talking Legends too, though, or are we just talking the movies?
Movies, just movies alone.
Okay, just movies, then I can see what you're saying. Reading Legends, though, there was the time when Luke was taken to the dark side of the Force.
Well, yes,
Dark
in the graphic novels,
The Dark Empire. Yeah.
Dark Empire. Yep. Amen. Which was
absolutely why he was able to help his nephew come back from the dark side of the Force.
But he never would have pulled his saber on his family member. That's
Over bad dreams.
Never. I cannot imagine. Luke, like, it almost makes me like emotional. Like, I could not imagine Luke
Now-
Skywalker pulling a saber on his nephew. And yeah, go ahead and take in EU into consideration or Legends, because even that would have never pulled on his family member. I don't think so. And I've read 30 plus of those EU novels. The only thing I haven't read is that BS at the end with the Bong War. I got tired of it. It was long.
Now, OG Revenite here had an interesting.
Wait. Who killed his father?
No. The one before that.
Oh.
He didn't deny his friends. He exiled himself to protect his friends because Snoke was able to sense him through the Force. Now, an interesting take on that too. And you said, in what universe would Luke Skywalker do that? In this universe, and I'll tell you why. And this is going to be my argument until the day I die. And if you disagree with me, you're free to disagree with me, and I will. That's fine. But you've got to look at there were two Jedi that were responsible for training Luke, Obi-Wan Kenobi and Yoda. And what did they do when they lost? They ran off.
I brought this up to Cameron. I'm with you. I brought this up to Cameron on one of our episodes a few 4 months back. It was a while back. And I said, I think I understand, because as soon as Obi-Wan failed, he fled.
Same thing with Yoda.
As soon as Yoda failed, he fled. And then Cameron's response in that episode was epic. I don't know if you can recapture that flame, but Cameron, how is it that if his two mentors fled when they failed, if he had failed, hold on a second. Your point, if I recall now, I'm sorry, is that he never would have attempted to strike down his nephew.
Yes.
Is that your point?
Yes.
And because of that, then none of the other shit would have ever happened.
And then the point of Luke, compared to the others, is that he's better than them. He is a different he's a different Jedi than those Jedi were. The whole point of that we see in the original trilogy, and if you take into account the prequel trilogy, Revenge of the Sith, Return of the Jedi, father and son are faced with ultimately the same decision, are they not? One goes left, the other goes right. Luke always goes right. He ascended above all of the previous Jedi past him, right?
But here's the main thing that you're forgetting about all of this. Anakin was the Vergence in the Force. Anakin was the Force balancing itself. Luke, after all is said, done, and over with, is still just a man. He's still just a human being. He's going to make mistakes. He's going to make mistakes. He's not going to have when you put him on a pedestal like that, when he does mess up or when something like this does happen, he falls hard. And I think that's exactly what happened to him, was that he had lifted himself up to that pedestal, and he was even looking at himself like, oh, I'm Master Luke Skywalker. I am the master of the universe, if you will. And then he made a mistake, made one single mistake. And
the guy that saves Darth Vader in Return of the Jedi would never have pulled his lightsaber on his nephew.
But he did I agree with this one piece though, Cam, where he did pull his he nearly killed his nephew in Legends for the same reasons of the dark side. With
Caedus?
Yes. And so I get that.
But compare the two. Compare Ben to Caedus at the same point in time. What had Ben done other than having bad dreams compared to what Caedus had done?
You're right.
It doesn't make any sense. I don't disagree that Luke can get to the point where he would kill his nephew, his best friend, and his sister's child. I don't disagree with that. How it was done in the movies makes absolutely no sense based off of what we had seen, movies alone, 2 movies before.
Right, movies
it
alone.
It makes absolutely no sense. Luke Skywalker would not have done that.
But in the books, he actually
did.
And now it was because of a dream, but it was not the way they portrayed it in the film, because he saw Mara, he envisioned Ben killing Mara Jade and her child. And Ben actually wakes up to his uncle above him with a lit saber. And that was when he went into isolation because he felt he had failed not only as a father, but also a teacher.
Legends.
Yep.
The same can be said too with canon. I mean, he looked at Ben, not Ben Solo, but
Kenobi.
or not Legends Ben, but regular Ben, canon Ben, and he looked at Ben and he was like, "Yeah, I messed up and I'm a horrible teacher, so I'm going to I made a mistake. I'm going to correct my mistake." And then and OG Revenant's killing it right here. I don't know if you're reading his comments, but
No matter what the
I
Jedi are
got it,
guided
too.
by, the will of Force, whatever it may be, we as the audience are supposed to automatically understand. I get that.
and then again too, this is his latest comment. Ultimately, Luke did not kill Ben for similar reasons that he did not strike down his father.
I just think if you're gonna look, okay, so
Then show me
I'm
it.
just gonna put this out, right?
Show me it like the book. Show me it then.
If you ever read any of the Dr. Dana Martin articles, there was one that I wrote a year ago, whatever, about the Return of the Jedi and my father, and why this specific movie is so important to me, and why it connected me to the Star Wars universe and became relational with my own children. Of course, it's a great article. I wrote it. Just kidding. It's all right. The point is, when you look at a relationship within a family, and this is where I do disagree, and I do agree with you, Cameron. Family is family. You're gonna take more, you're gonna accept more, and you're gonna deal with more because they're family. So for just some dreams and just a sense of darkness within his nephew, I had a very difficult time understanding why the Luke Skywalker from the movies alone would have ever done that. When he would deny his training, he would deny any connection with Yoda. I'll come back when I'm done. I've got to go save my friends. His compassion, your compassion will be your undoing. I get it. Like, I personally, on a very personal level, get that. But how do you rationalize that same Luke Skywalker that put his saber down and said, "You're gonna here. I'm handcuffed. You have my lightsaber, Dad, and guess what? I'm gonna turn my back on you to make it even easier. You don't even have to look in my eyes. If you're that threatened by me, just kill me." That Luke Skywalker is not who we saw. And that, for me, gets me a little emotional and a little upset because that's a Luke Skywalker. I know this is a Sith Dominion show. F it. That's the Luke Skywalker that growing up I wanted to be.
Well, I agree. Well, I agree with you, Dana, because at the time of watching those films, I had not read Legends. I know the story a little bit how it turns out, but I'm still in the process of reading the novels right now. So I'm not super in-depth familiar with everything that he does in Legends, but I don't disagree that it could be something that he could possibly do. But in the movies, how it's portrayed is inconsistent with how the character was done in the films. And I will stand by that.
I agree.
That's not...
Yeah, I can see that if you're going just from film lore. I completely see that. As you get into
that what's only canon now, though, Kat?
What?
Isn't film lore the only canon right now? Film lore in a couple of games the only canon right now?
The mouse is dumb. And just because the mouse says it so doesn't mean that the history is not there. Because if that was the case, we wouldn't be talking about Bane, Revan, how many other Sith we've talked about that are still technically not a canon per the happiest place on earth.
Bane is canon on
Bane
yeah.
Rule of
See,
two. Oh, that's canon.
Because he finally
Revan's
brought
the
Bane
name
out,
Revan's
fans
canon.
were like,
The name
bro,
Revan.
you can't have Sith without Bane.
See, season 6 of the Clone Wars.
With
He
the
was there.
wills. With the wills.
Yeah,
But
Lucas
that's
finally
still-
got Filoni to put that in with the wills, which is great.
Mhm.
That was the
He's-
original piece, man. That's good.
He's there.
Luke nearly killed Vader when Vader threatened to go after his sister. You saw in his eyes in Return of the Jedi, he had every intention of killing Vader until the last second. It's no different with Ben. The consistency is there.
And
Yeah.
he even lit he had his lightsaber lit, and he was standing over Ben, and then he stopped and he said, "Oh my gosh, what am I doing?" And he turned it off. And then Ben reacted the way that a spoiled, rotten teenager would, and
Do a temper fit.
yeah, Ben reacted the way that Kylo Ren would have, and pitched a fit and went nuts.
You're talking about this guy. This is the same guy that threw his lightsaber away.
And
The guy that threw his lightsaber away is willing to light it and at least stand over him.
Wait a minute.
I have a problem with that.
Here he threw his lightsaber away, yes, but then when Ben reacted and threw his hissy fit and destroyed his temple, do you honestly think that if Ben was going through destroying his temple, that Luke would not have that was his throwing his lightsaber away? Was okay, fine, I messed up, wipe out my temple, that's fine.
So this is a good
He
point.
didn't stop him, basically.
Far too much focus on their family ties rather than what Luke saw him do. But the future's not written. Always in motion, the future is, and so
Well, I mean,
because of
it
that,
was.
There's no fate but what we make for ourselves. Oh, wrong franchise. Sorry.
See, I'm just trying not to spoil it for Cam because it says he hasn't finished reading it yet.
I know most of
and-
the SparkNote version of the stuff, so don't feel free to
Okay.
enlighten me,
Because
please. I'm
in
probably
this-
not going to change my mind, but
In this particular case, the future was written because that's what he saw, and then he did actually kill Mara Jade and Luke's son.
hold on.
This is
Yeah.
Legends. We're back on Legends.
Legends.
again.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. Because I'm like, hold on a
Yeah,
second.
which I believe is also what OG Revanite's speaking to is in Legends. So
Yes.
it wasn't that he's just saw.
But
it
that's
was-
the difference. He didn't when he went after Cadus.
Yeah.
That dude was a full-fledged dark side. Okay, this is not.
No,
This
but
is
this is
why
Ben.
I
Ben
think
is
there's
the one that killed Mara
difference.
Jade.
Do what?
Ben
Ben's
was the one that killed,
Mara Jade.
Uh-huh.
not Cadus.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I'm getting twisted. Yes.
Not
So-
that Ben Solo, the other Ben Solo.
The other Ben Solo.
Man.
Yeah.
This is what happens when you split off of what we believe to be the Bible, right? You're putting in other shit in the Bible, and maybe it belongs, maybe it doesn't. I don't know, and I'm starting to get all twisted. But to that point about what's canon, what's not, when we look at circle back to the Acolyte real quick, they have anything that's in film or series becomes.
Canon.
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 So let's bring it back real quick to this whole final scene with Venestra and Yoda. I have a problem with the scene because I can, and we started to talk about it, but I want to know, Zane, Cam, David, and Kat, how is it that Yoda could sit there and not feel this? I don't want to say lies, embellishment of the truth. And OG Revanite, you stated earlier that Plagueis and Sidious, specifically Plagueis, not Sidious at this point, but could have already been trying to influence all of this. So help me understand, because I seem to think that within the writing there's a bit of a disconnect here. How is it that Plagueis?
That is why we need a second season. Because all she did was go in and say something along. We've had an issue. You don't know what exactly she told Yoda. You don't know what his reaction to it was. This is why we need follow up. We need either a second season, a comic book, regular
2 more
books,
episodes, you know.
2 more episodes. Even if they did like a made for TV movie, like Marvel does these, what do they call them? Like special. They did it Werewolf by Night and the Guardians. It's like the special presentation.
Like a one shot.
Yeah, it's just like a little one shot. Hey, here's a little 45-minute one shot. We're gonna answer everything and then leave it alone.
Yeah. Would you all be okay if Vanestra had a touch of dark side and was already working with?
I'm surprised she doesn't.
Yeah.
I'm glad to hear you say that.
And mainly because of her name. Her name sounds evil.
Vanestra.
I mean, that's just Vanestra. I am Vanestra. She just, yeah. Plus, she's kind of a jerk too. So
She
yeah,
is.
yeah.
We've been at it, folks, for 2 hours tonight.
She's got that
again.
wormy little apprentice too. I hate him.
Oh, that apprentice! I know. I brought that up earlier on the show. I
want to
mistook him for who his master was, but yeah, why would you take him on?
I don't know. That's the kid you run around in the school and you stick his head in the toilet and flush him.
Okay, I was one of those, so let's not go
I
there.
know. Well, I was too, but that was a different time. I'm bigger now. I can do
my
it.
My name was Dana. Okay, and I grew up in very South Texas. We'll just leave it at that.
Hey, I grew up wearing Star Wars shirts when there was no Star Wars. So
yes,
yeah.
Yes.
You go to high school toting around Heir to the Empire in your backpack and reading it during off times.
Yeah, Zane will be your friend.
You run into things. You see things.
Listen up. 2 hours in, we're gonna go ahead and pull this. Thank you all for joining. We still got 4 people watching. Really appreciate it. OG Revenite, I'm not sure who you really are, but really appreciate your engagement. Thank you.
OG Revenite, you can be my friend.
Absolutely.
I
OG Revenite, and for anyone else still listening that didn't know, if you jump on any at the Sith Dominion, there's a link tree at the bottom there. Just go to Linktree Sith Dominion, grab one of those, take a screenshot of you liking, following all the things. Local lore master, you're gonna have to fight Zane for that. OG Revenite.
That's me. That's me.
Any of y'all listening on the podcast, find the Sith Dominion on any of those at Sith Dominion. Go to Linktree. Take a screenshot of you signing up to subscribe or follow, and we will send you the Discord link. Yes, Discord. We have a Discord server. Early access for the next 2 weeks. We'll be revamping the show, getting everything ready to go for the new launch on the new channel. David, you and Kat, Debbie, of course, but you and Kat have been so instrumental in all the things with Dr. Dana Martin there at GNN, and I really sincerely appreciate it. And this was a decision to kind of move on and do some other things, was not taken easy. And I know, Kat, you know that because I've had some conversations with you. So with that being said, yes, David, Darth Zane, we will absolutely love to have you on our show again. Kat, of course, and having some cross promotion moving forward always is good for everybody. So yes, I want to be able to continue to do that. Cameron, Zane, we will see you guys in 2 weeks for sure. And you and I, or you two and I, and Debbie, but she's asleep at this point, we'll be working on what we need to do for these other bits. If you want to be involved with the Sith Dominion and you want to help out, please let us know in the DM or in the what is it called? Discord once we get you on there. Again, early access about 2 weeks early, and then we'll start. Jason killed Mara. Debbie, you're still awake and you're chatting with us, but you're
Jason
not
killed
on the
Mara,
show.
not Ben.
That's right, Jason. Not
yes.
that's right. That's
Didn't
right.
he tell her to go to bed like an hour ago?
Yeah, I
All
did.
right.
But
Well,
she
no,
doesn't
it's
listen.
East Coast time, so it was
It's
probably
East Coast, so it's really like 11:06. Anyway, none of this would have ever happened in the way it happened without GNN. So I want to make sure everyone knows how important GNN is. And we will continue to cross promote. So yes, thank you, Kat, David, for joining. Zane, Cam, we'll see you guys in a couple weeks. And Debbie, I know you're listening because that's what you do. We'll see you guys as well. Everyone else listening, thank you for your engagement, especially OG Revenite, Andrew, Janae, etc., etc. For the 1 year on GNN anniversary, again, I can't say thank you enough. But remember, kids, peace is a lie, and there is only passion. We will see you guys in a few weeks. Good night.